Theranos and Elizabeth Holmes, the biggest scam in the world of science. Hello, Bear Science followers. Today, we're going to share with you the story of a massive scam that set out with the promise of revolutionizing modern medicine, but ultimately endangered the health of thousands. The story of Theranos and its founder, Elizabeth Holmes. If you've ever gone to donate blood, you know all too well the pain of the needle, the long lines, and the hassles of waiting in labs. But what if, just like with diabetes tests, you could get everything measured, from cancer and hormone levels to your overall health profile, using just a few drops of blood taken from your fingertip right at home with an affordable, practical device? In 2003, a young and ambitious entrepreneur named Elizabeth Holmes promised exactly that. Born in 1984, Elizabeth Holmes showed an early interest in computer programming during her high school years, although her grades weren't particularly stellar. Her family believed that she needed to attend prestigious schools to achieve great success. So, despite facing challenges, she was pushed to learn Chinese at an early age and even made her first money selling C++ compilers to Chinese companies. In 2002, Holmes enrolled in the chemical engineering program at Stanford University and began dreaming of becoming a billionaire. Then, in 2003, while traveling in Asia, she witnessed the SARS outbreak, which sparked the idea of a revolutionary healthcare technology. A device that could generate your complete health profile with just a few drops of blood from your fingertip. Holmes worked nearly 5 days straight, without sleep, to develop a device she named Edison. Designed as a small black box, this device was presented in a style reminiscent of the products inspired by Steve Jobs. However, there was a huge problem. Blood tests require specific amounts of blood and involve various procedures. For example, some tests need to count blood cells, others monitor chemical reactions, and some even require blood to be separated by centrifugation. Edison completely ignored these fundamental scientific and engineering requirements. While Theranos claimed that hundreds, even thousands of tests could be performed with a single drop of blood. In reality, the Edison devices in their labs experienced component failures and frequent malfunctions. In fact, they could only test about 10% of the blood drawn from patients using Edison. The rest was processed by existing, large and expensive machines. This led to inaccurate test results and, in some cases, erroneous treatment plans. For instance, a patient whose medications were changed based on these faulty results ended up suffering a heart attack, highlighting just how serious these risks were. To support her claims and make Theranos appear reliable, Holmes surrounded herself with some truly influential figures. The board of directors included internationally recognized names such as former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger and former Secretary of Defense William Perry, as well as figures like former Senator Sam Nunn, ex-CEO of Wells Fargo Richard Kovacevic, former Navy Admiral Gary Rodd, and engineering leader Riley Beale. These high-profile names were meant to create the impression among investors that Theranos' technological infrastructure and healthcare innovations were built on solid foundations. However, many of these individuals were not known for their deep expertise in medical laboratories or healthcare technology. Holmes attempted to fill this gap by leveraging the support of wealthy and influential contacts. For instance, even someone like Ramesh Sunny Balwani, a Pakistani immigrant with no medical background, secured a place in the management team. His presence raised questions about Theranos' scientific credibility, yet Holmes counterbalanced this by emphasizing the allure of these prestigious names. This strategy enabled Theranos to project an image of revolutionary innovation in laboratory technology, clinical testing, and healthcare, without actually providing concrete data or evidence. Investors and the public largely overlooked the technological shortcomings because they were swayed by the prestige these names brought. In doing so, Holmes managed to captivate both investors and the media with a promise of a future that was entirely based on a dream, rather than on genuine scientific foundations. Inside the company, things were completely different. Laboratory teams who raised concerns about the constant malfunctions and erroneous test results were silenced by those in charge. No one was allowed to reveal that these inaccurate results were affecting patient treatments and even endangering lives. Employees who questioned these practices were fired, while Holmes refused to tolerate any criticism, using aggressive methods to eliminate all doubts. The truth eventually came to light thanks to the meticulous investigations of Wall Street Journal reporter John Carreyrou. He revealed that millions of Theranos tests were actually being performed with conventional machines, and that the Edison device was virtually non-functional. Furthermore, it became evident that patient data was being manipulated and that erroneous results were being deliberately concealed. Following these revelations, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the Department of Justice, and the Securities and Exchange Commission launched investigations into Theranos. At one point, even then, President Joe Biden visited the company, only to find that they had constructed fake laboratories to deceive investors. In response to all this pressure, Holmes took to television in an attempt to defend herself, declaring, "First, they laugh at you. Then they call you crazy, and eventually you change the world." However, as the truth emerged piece by piece, her defenses crumbled. In the end, once all of Theranos' lies were exposed, the collapse of the company became inevitable. Elizabeth Holmes was charged with fraud, misleading investors, forgery, and tampering with evidence. On January 3rd, 2022, she was convicted on multiple counts, and although she is currently out on bail, her sentence has yet to be determined. The Theranos saga has shown us just how dangerous the dreamlike vision promoted by Silicon Valley can be. While the passion for innovation among young entrepreneurs is undoubtedly important, when scientific facts and ethical values are disregarded, such deceptions can endanger lives. This case underscores the need for transparency, accountability, and systems built on sound scientific principles in both the technology and healthcare sectors. The story of Theranos and Elizabeth Holmes shows us just how dangerous the allure of innovation can be, and what can happen when ambition combines with unethical methods. As we advance in science, it is crucial to always act with common sense and integrity, believing in the power of real, reliable science without putting lives at risk. There are many lessons to be learned from this striking story. Until the next video, take care and goodbye.